In this video, I'm going to tell you about the only time that I dropped a class. And by the end of this video, you will be able to see that failure can actually be the best teacher and give you a lesson you'll never forget. So in 2019, I think it was 2019, I was taking Math 24, which is a prerequisite or a math class that transfers to Sacramento State University. And I was taking it with a professor, Debbie Hill. And I'm so grateful that I chose her as my professor because she didn't care just about us learning the math. She wanted to make sure we actually understood how to learn and the process of learning, that it wasn't always going to be easy, and that was okay. Now, the thing that I wasn't expecting was while I was in the midst of that class, I was about a month, 2 months into it, and the pandemic hit. And so we went from a in-person class to a class that was exclusively online. And because of that, it really just wasn't the same for me. I didn't care as much about the class, even though I really kind of wanted to. And in my brain, I was just asking myself, like, why is it that when a class is online, why don't I care as much? Why is that not something that I why did I stop doing what was required? And what I learned was a part of what drives me specifically is being able to help other people in the learning environment. And I realized that when I wasn't in person, if I understood a concept, it wasn't going to help someone else be able to learn more effectively. And so it's harder for me to care as deeply. And I was also taking 2 other Spanish classes at the time, and in my mind, I was going, these classes, they're more important. And so because of that, I actually chose to drop this math class. And it was challenging for me because it was the first class I'd ever dropped. And I didn't really know how to feel. It kind of felt like I was failing, but then also because it was during the pandemic, it was actually a time where they allowed you to drop with no negative repercussions, and I was so grateful for that. But what was interesting too was when I went back, I ended up taking that class with the same professor the next semester. And the reason why I did that was because she taught with a different method than most professors. And she went through Mindset by Carol Dweck, and it made such a difference for me. And it wasn't easy the first time or the second time. And it was a harder math class, at least at the time, than even some of the classes that I took at Sac State. And I think that was because that class actually prepared me really well for those other classes. And it actually turned into a gift. Now, how this happened was because the second time through, I put just as much effort and I was able to sustain that effort over time. And there was one week, it was actually the week that I dropped the first time, that was the hardest week, where I literally went to office hours. I worked at it for literally hours. And there was always this point where you stick with it, it's frustrating, and then it clicks. And that moment when it clicks is like this aha moment, and it's the best. And one of the things that I learned from that was simply choosing to stay with it, choosing to try one more time and try one more method, think of one other way this might work, and realize that each time that I fail in the process of learning, I'm getting one step closer to the right way to do it. that was so satisfying. And so I went from dropping a class, which in my mind felt like a failure, to on the other side, actually getting an A in that class. And that A, like I've gotten quite a lot of A's in college, but that A is the most valuable to me because it was a reminder that something happening short term doesn't define me, that there is a way to overcome. And it was just such a reminder that sometimes the things that I can see as a failure really aren't, that it's really just that it can actually be the thing that I become most proud of, even if in the moment it doesn't feel possible. So I hope this is an encouragement to you if you dropped the class or failed the class or aren't sure for this semester. I just want to encourage you that it's probably not going to be as big a deal as it seems in the moment. And also that having people around you that care and support you is really important to be able to get through tough times in school and in life. So thank you so much for watching this video. I'm so grateful for you and for you choosing to spend this time with me. My name is Daniel Barnes, and I will see you guys later.